as much as I like doing that little in-person intro, but I feel like some people are just like, come on, let's get to the video. So for this one, plus it makes it easier to not do extra work, I'm not putting one in there. Instead, I'm just doing this little in-video intro, which I'm assuming I was lazy and didn't want to put extra stuff in, so there's just pictures of Sakura right now. So number 8 in my waifu ranking is Sakura. The nice thing about doing a waifu ranking is that I can be as subjective as I want and no one can say anything. Well, I mean, you can, but please don't. I'm sensitive. With Sakura, it's not actually her, it's me. And I mean that literally, and not how, like, every girl uses it. Sakura already belongs to someone, and only that one, as dead as they may be. She needs the strongest man, and knowing that I am indeed not that, I just wouldn't ever feel right being with Sakura. I mean, I would love her, don't get me wrong, but I would know I'm not the right one for her, and it's hard to feel that real love would flourish there. I'm going to keep Sakura's paragraph real nice and sweet because it feels too easy to make fun of her for being a big, burly brawly. Her nickname is Ogre, and unfortunately this isn't Shrek. We're in the real life, where looks do matter. At number 7, we have Toko. Y'all should have seen the first two coming. Honestly, Toko is everything you could ever want in a woman if you hated yourself. Toko just doesn't do it for me. Now I know there's guys out there that when Toko said she's ugly would obviously tell her she's wrong and try to comfort her, but I would be in the demographic of guys that tells her she's right. If you have no confidence, I have no interest. That sounds mean, but you get why I don't think this would make for a good relationship. I don't want to spend half of our relationship reassuring you that I want to be in our relationship. Yes, I still love you. I wouldn't sit through this boring as hell book reading if I didn't. In my character ranking, I said that Genocide Jill balanced out Toko, but the same thing doesn't apply to this video. Convenient way to plug my other video? Eh? Toko's good for something after all. Okay, now I feel bad. I think I'd actually get along with Jill pretty well, and I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about her tone looking my eyeball. But the roller coaster that would be dating Toko would just inevitably end up with me throwing up. So she's gonna be at number 7. Okay, at number 5, we have the Despair Sisters themselves, Junko and Mukuro Ukasaba. We got ourselves a twofer. I genuinely could not choose between the two of them. The biggest difficulty I had placing them was just trying to get a full grasp on them. Because, like, the Junko in the games versus the Junko in the show are different, especially because they're happening at 2 different times. My ideal Junko is when she was just being herself during the games, like those little breaks where she would just talk normally. As much as I like the other personalities she makes, I know it'd be annoying to actually be around. I got annoyed with it just during the games. My friend brought up the interesting point that if you and Junko were ever banging, she could just switch into her uwu kid personality, and that's something to take into consideration, whether she moves down or up your list. And with Mukuro, you never really get much of her, so it's hard to really get a good grasp on her too. Like, what was she like before she was Ultimate Despair? I want to get to know the real Mukuro. I think she'd be a sweet, fun person, minus the almost certain PTSD. But sadly, we never get to see that side of her. I guess I'll have to wait for the new summertime fanservice game to come out. I know Junko always says she smells, and I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not, which would be a factor. But I like these characters as, characters. But it's hard to really see them as anything other than crazy bitches. If I genuinely had to choose one or the other, I'd probably just choose Mukuro, because it isn't her fault she's all despair-filled, but at the same time, I don't like the idea of dating someone who can do more pull-ups than me. Like I said, I'm indecisive. And for those reasons, I think it's just easiest to put them tied, for me, at 6 and 5. At number 4, Celeste. Now, let me be clear. I want to get stepped on. I like Celeste as a waifu more for the chase than the actual goal. Celeste has a ranking system for people, and while that's probably undeniably a bad thing, it's kind of enthralling. Like, it makes me want to go through the ranks to make her like me. I think this paragraph is going to end up saying more about me than it will Celeste. Now, the rational, intelligent person in me realizes that this dynamic is not indicative of a healthy and good relationship, and would therefore be counterintuitive to the point of the list. But when you finish her school mode and she says I can be your knight, and that it's our dream now, and we'll someday sit atop our castle, all that goes out the window. I just want to please Celeste and get pegged. I'm just going to end the paragraph here because I'm starting to hate myself writing it. At number 3, Kyoko. Kyoko is a great waifu, but she's not number 1 status. Like, she's smart, pretty, independent, and all that. But don't you feel like you'd just be putting up with a lot of bullshit? Like, you wouldn't be able to get away with jack diddly. Even during the main game, she got mad at you for literally nothing, and you weren't even dating yet. So imagine when you're actually together, literally one trip home from work where you pick yourself up Taco Bell, and not any for her, is an entire week you're going without meals. There's no argument that Kyoko's a stone-cold fox, and that's endearing to some degree, but sometimes it feels like that's just more trouble than it's worth. She shows her softer side sometimes, and it's really cute. A lot cuter than when Sakura does it. But me personally, I guess I prefer the softer girl, and this is my list, so... Some of you guys might hate number 2. Number 2, Sayaka. So based off the feedback of my first Danganronpa video, it seems a lot of people do not like Sayaka, hate her in fact. But I cannot bring myself to dislike her. She's fantastic waifu material. Just for a second, okay? Just for a second, forget all about her trying to stab your back and Leon's front, right? No, it's okay, really, you can do it. Just don't think about it. She's so cute and cheerful, and don't try to tell me that she was designed to be likable, because that doesn't diminish a damn thing. She's designed to be liked, that explains why I liked her so much. Every option in school mode with her was a treat, and the few report card free times you got with her were just as delightful. Sure, apparently she can go batshit crazy, but I'll just take the risk that we won't be put into a situation such as a killing game where we have to kill each other that'll cause her to make rash decisions, and I'm sure we'll be okay. You know what I want to know in the comments? We can say this is a question of the day or something. What's your preferred hair color in your animated significant other? Or your real life significant other if you were being honest with yourself. Mine's blue, so Sayaka got them extra points right off the bat. Y'all can hate her all you want, but if one of you were dating Taylor Swift, like prime Taylor Swift, I don't think you would care what literally anyone had to say. At number 1, Hina. Hina's the best girl. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, and... Oh, wait, I have to say more? Alright. Hina was my first choice in girl from the moment that I met all the characters. She was the first person I spent free time with, first person whose report card I maxed out, and the first person that I did in school mode. And I loved it all. It seems like my reasoning won't be all that different from Sayaka's, but no. With Sayaka, I was happy doing all this stuff with her. With Hina, I was excited to do it all. Her optimistic, bubbly personality is definitely what attracts me to her. She always tried to stay upbeat and optimistic, and that's the type of girl I want to spend the rest of my life with. Sure, I wish she was a little bit smarter, but I won't complain when she's already so damn near perfection. Now, me personally, I prefer my titties, well, not my titties, but I prefer to... I don't have to. B to C is what I like. And with anime characters, it's hard to really know what size they're going for because every character is like a size double F. But I'm more than happy to have what she's packing. Oh, don't worry, babe. You can have the pillow. I'm good. In Aoi's final free time event, she asked Makoto to pretend to be her boyfriend so she can practice being more girly. I thought I died to Justice Hammer and went to Danganronpa heaven. It was at that moment I learned that no one's a bigger cockblock to Makoto than Makoto. Because the dude said no! I'm over here screaming at the screen going, Makoto! What the hell are you doing? For my friend group Secret Santa this year, the guy who got me thought it'd be funny to give me an Aoi body pillow cover, and I haven't lost enough self-respect for myself to actually use it. Maybe someday. But yeah guys, that's basically gonna do it. I want to test out this type of video because I realize that with a lot of my content, my main focus is obviously on just my opinions and my jokes and how I tell them. So I would spend a lot of time recording, cutting, and like transferring actual clips of the game or whatever to focus on what I was talking about. And while I like that, I feel like for my personal style, I would rather have just a basic thing going on in the background and more editing emphasizing the specific jokes of what I'm saying. So I'm excited to see how this all turns out after like I'm done with my whole editing process. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you like this, if you want to comment on it, or if you want to subscribe about it. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Oh!